Alright, hello and welcome to ScareTissue.com. I'm Scott and I write under the name Trapjaw there. Today we are with Starry Eyes directors and writers Dennis Widmyer and Kevin Kolsch. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello, thank you for having us.
Starry Eyes is a scary look at the movie-making business and poses the question, what are you willing to give up for stardom? It's available on VOD on November 14th. And I found it very reminiscent of the film Mulholland Drive. And I heard many comparisons to that. Both films deal with the mysterious rise to fame and kind of cast a creepy light on filmmaking in general. How much did this film inspire you, and how scared should those just starting out in Hollywood be?
Yeah, I would say that Mulholland Drive was definitely a big influence, just in that Lynch is a big influence on us. But I think once we started sort of telling the story, it kind of veered from there. Like, obviously, once you make a film sort of with this darker look at Hollywood, you're gonna get comparisons to Mulholland Drive, because aside from that, usually people are showing Hollywood in this like sunny light, and like somebody's shopping or something, and there's a Hollywood sign in the background, and it looks like but when you show a darker version, it's kind of like, I really don't know many others besides Mulholland Drive that kind of take that approach, so of course you're going to get the comparisons. But I think that once we started telling the story, it became more where our sort of inner feelings, because me and Dennis have been working together for 20 years, so our inner feelings at how we felt for 20 years trying to break into the industry and just barely scratching the surface, a lot of those frustrations kind of came out and took over. But yeah, I would say that Lynch and Mulholland Drive is definitely an influence on us as filmmakers, just in general. But when we started actually writing the movie, we found a lot of our own personal feelings taking over. And as far as the question of how scared should people be just starting out, well, that depends. I mean, if you're like Sarah and you're looking for, you're moving to LA or Hollywood for like sort of this instant stardom, and you just want to come out here and you think that the world is going to, just recognize your brilliance and you're going to be a star, the next day, well then, yeah, be scared, because it's not going to happen that way unless you cut some corners. But because, even when people say the term overnight success, it's only overnight to the people that are watching that had no idea who they were before. The person who you're claiming was an overnight success was usually working at it for a very long time before you became aware of them. So, just like me and Dennis, took like 20 years to even have this film, so it's kind of like, how scared should you be? It depends on your perspective and what what you're expecting by coming out here. I mean, a lot of being successful is kind of just longevity and whether or not you stick it out. And
that's a very good answer. You both got your start on the documentary Postcards from the Future. It was about Fight Club writer Chuck Palahniuk. Yeah, I can never say his name.
Nobody can. It's Paula Nick.
I'm just going to say Postcards from the Future.
No,
you used the money from that to self-fund your feature film, Absence, and in the meantime, you've been working on a bunch of short films and doing festival circuit. So then when you found yourself with Starry Eyes, if we really don't have a typical Hollywood story to your guys' rise to fame, why are we looking at it from the inside here?
Yeah, I mean, I think what you're asking is, like, how did it come together, really? We've always been outside guys. We've always been scratching at the surface, and we've always kind of been DIY guys, where we've had to fund everything we've done, and, yeah, like, the Chuck Palahniuk documentary was something we kind of just did, last minute. It was like, oh, I run his website for a living, so I have a big finger on the pulse when it comes to his fans. And I just kind of knew that they would want something like this. So we said, hey, let's go shoot this thing. We got his permission, and then we spent like the next year editing it. And then lo and behold, there was a good need for it. And we suddenly found ourselves with a little money in the bank, and we said, rather than trying to write screenplays that dictate a certain X amount of budget that we'll never be able to raise the money for, let's look at the money that we already have in our account. We had about $25,000. A lot of money to us, but not a lot of money in the scheme of things when it comes to even micro-budgeted films. But we said, why don't we reverse engineer it? Why don't we think about this the other way? And why don't we write a screenplay that we know we could do for $25,000? So that was Absence, which was really our first narrative feature. And then after that, it was like, well, we're not going to be able to raise $25,000 again. And we lived in Long Island, New York at the time, so we didn't really know a lot of producers and money people and investors. And so we just started doing short films and videos just to try to get better at our craft. And then when it finally came time to do another feature film, we were almost kind of worried because we said, if we do another feature film, we obviously want it to be bigger and better than our last one. But again, it's tough to raise money. So we approached it and we did a Kickstarter. And what happened was we were trying to do the Kickstarter as just a $50,000 film, very small. But then we had our producer, Travis Stevens, get involved, and then he was able to attract attention from Dark Sky Films, who is now distributing the film. And then before we knew it, we suddenly had like a quote real film on our hands, where suddenly we had a little more money than we did in the past. So it all kind of was like a minor miracle that it came together the way it did.
Well, it's a wonderful film. Like I said, I just finished it. I loved every minute of it. The audition scenes were wonderful. What's the strangest thing that you've ever seen in an audition?
We do it? We won't say his name, but during the dog...
Yeah, no names, please.
Yeah, from about like 2002 to like 2005, we were trying to make this feature film, and this is when we were going about it wrong, where we were trying to raise like some absurd amount of money for us at the time, like $1 million, and it was like, how the hell are we going to do that? But we had a script, we were meeting investors, and we were holding auditions, but we didn't have any money. So for about 4 years, we were just seeing all these actors come in and audition. And that was where a lot of the influence for Starry Eyes came from, because we were just seeing these people kind of come in and just sort of bearing their souls for us for 5 minutes and then going back to their day job, and it's very humbling to see that. But we had one particular actor who came in who really wanted the role, and he was a really nice guy. We liked him personally, but he just didn't have the chops to kind of pull off the role, so we kind of unwisely said that we would maybe give him like a small cameo speaking role in the movie. But the movie never manifested. It never happened. And then this actor ended up going back to their home country, and I guess in a fit of desperation, started doing interviews with press in his country, telling them all that he was starring in our film, that David Lynch was directing it, and that he had written the script and was the lead star. And this is all bullshit. None of this happened. And what happened was he explained a series of auditions that he did for David Lynch, where he was in a dark room and a spotlight was held on his face by Lynch for a long period of time. And he didn't flinch. And then Lynch knew that he was the lead actor for his film because he passed the test. And again, he was making all the stuff. It was all bullshit. But that was the one thing that kind of rang true, that we thought was really interesting from this guy's story, was that this fake story of this crazy audition. So we said, you know what, why don't we try to salvage something from this mess and try to use it in something? And that was where that idea came from.
Yeah. So we were also in the fake David Lynch, not just the real one, but like the fake one.
Yeah, the one that this actor made up. And obviously none of this thought it was a funny story. There you go.
That is a great story. So what are you guys working on currently?
We're working on a couple different things. We've got a few scripts that we're working on that that could be our next project. One of them is sort of an erotic thriller, throwback to kind of like 90s Fatal Attraction.
Yeah, Michael Douglas movies,
stuff.
Brian De Palma, stuff by Adrian Lyne.
I just did an article on erotic thrillers and how they've completely gone away. Well, and a lot of it is a lot of it you can push back to the movie Embrace of the Vampire, strangely enough.
Yes,
with
you can.
Alyssa Milano.
I know that one.
We know it. We a few people, they all instantly kind of sit up in their seat and they go, oh, an erotic thriller, okay. So it's like, I think that people kind of want those back now, So we're working on that, and then we have a couple other things we're working on, and we've been considered for a couple big projects. So, we'll see what happens.
Well, very good, and I wish you both a lot of luck.
Thank you, man.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, and thank you for the film. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Look for my review next week. I should be running your interview here. I'm going to do an interview with Alexandra later. And I think I might even track down Maria here because I'm friends with her on Facebook.
Maria's great. You'll love talking to her.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. Good luck the rest of the day.